Okay, let's unpack this. Picture this. You're on a hill, kind of remote, in Brazil. It's August 66. It smells damp, like after rain, but then this other smell hits you. Really strong, rotting.
Yeah.
And it leads this young kid who's just out flying his kite to find, well, something truly bizarre. Two men dead in the grass, but they're wearing suits and waterproof coats.
Okay.
And the kicker, these strange, kind of homemade-looking lead masks over their eyes, plus a weird note nearby. This is the lead masks case. Seriously, one of Brazil's most baffling unsolved mysteries.
It really is. And it's those masks, isn't it? Lead masks. It just sticks in your head.
Yeah.
What's fascinating here is how this case just grabbed people and hasn't let go. Decades later, we're still talking about it.
Yeah.
Documentaries, articles, endless theories online. And the sources we have are, well, they're all over the place. Forensic reports or, the lack of them, witness accounts, spiritualist theories, even UFO sightings. It's a lot.
It really is. And that's our mission today, right? To try and cut through some of that noise. We're going to look at the most solid details, the main theories, pull them together from all these different places.
Try to make some sense of it.
Exactly. Lay it out clearly so you can weigh it all up and maybe figure out what you think happened, because it is just an enduring enigma. So the story kicks off with that discovery. Vintem Hill, that's in Niterói, near Rio, August 20th, 1966.
Right.
And like I said, it was a kid flying a kite who noticed the smell, found the bodies. They were later ID'd as Manuel Pereira de Cruz, he was 32, and Miguel Jose Viana, 34.
And they weren't locals to Niterói, were they?
No, they were electronics technicians from a different town, Campos dos Goytacazes, lying there side by side, kind of hidden in the grass. And the clothes, formal suits, these brand new raincoats, they even found the receipts for the coats.
Suggests they bought them specifically for this trip, maybe?
Could be. But then the masks. These lead eye masks, shaped like big sunglasses, apparently, but just solid sheets of lead, hand-cut, no eye holes at all.
And that's just immediately strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything else seems planned, the suits, the coats, the location, but then no obvious violence, no signs of a fight.
None reported initially.
Their wallets were there too, right?
Uh-huh.
Though the money situation is complicated. We'll get into that. But the masks, solid lead, covering their eyes, it just screams purpose.
This raises an important question. Why blind yourself? What are you protecting yourself from or trying to achieve if you can't see? It feels like deliberate blindness right at the end.
Right.
And that's just deeply, deeply weird.
Totally. And it wasn't just the masks. There were other odd things found nearby.
Like what?
An empty water bottle, again, with a receipt, like they planned to return it for the deposit. Just a weirdly normal detail,
Huh. Amidst all the strangeness.
Yeah. And a packet with 2 wet towels. And then this small notebook found right there.
Ah, the notebook. That's really the core of it, isn't it?
Seems like it. It's got these incredibly cryptic notes inside. It's like a window into their last hours, maybe. It really is. That notebook is absolutely central. There's this one entry that everyone focuses on. It says 16.30B at the agreed place. That's 4:30 p.m. Then 18.3 ingest capsules. After effect protect metals. Wait for mass signal.
Wow. Okay. Breaking that down. Agreed place suggests they were meeting someone or had a planned spot.
Exactly. Premeditated. And ingest capsules. I mean, that's pretty clear. They intended to take something. Pills, drugs, some kind of substance.
Right. But protect metals. What does that even mean?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Were they talking about electronic gear? Maybe shielding it from, I don't know, energy? Or maybe metals was like a code word for their own bodies? Protect themselves?
Could be. And mask signal. A signal from the mask. Or a signal to put on the mask.
Or maybe something symbolic, within whatever belief system they were operating in. Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really points towards some kind of ritual or a very specific planned procedure they were following, step by step.
It definitely sounds methodical. And weren't there other notes in there too? Not just that one instruction.
Oh, yeah. There were other entries. Things like Sunday, 1 capsule after lunch, Wednesday, 1 capsule at bedtime.
So taking capsules wasn't just a one-off for that day.
That's what it suggests, right? It sounds like a routine, maybe some kind of ongoing experiment or preparation, taking these things regularly. The timing after lunch, bedtime, it sounds quite structured, like a self-prescribed thing.
Weird.
And get this mixed in with all this strange stuff. The notebook also had Ohm's law written down, EIR, the basic electronics formula.
Huh. So technical stuff alongside the capsules and signals.
Exactly. It kind of underlines who they were, electronics guys.
Right.
Maybe they thought they could approach whatever this was,
Yep.
spiritually or otherwise, with a kind of technical mindset, trying to measure or control something unseen. It's that mix, the technical and the mystical, that's so central to understanding these two.
Okay, so they had this plan, this notebook. What do we know about their actual movements leading up to finding them on the hill?
Well, that part just adds more layers of mystery, honestly.
Yeah.
They left home August 17th, 1966. Told their families they were off to Sao Paulo, said they needed to buy work stuff, maybe look at a car.
But they didn't go to Sao Paulo.
Nope. They went to Niterói, which is where they bought those raincoats and that water bottle we mentioned.
Okay.
And there's this account from a waitress at the bar where they got the water. She apparently said Miguel, one of the men, seemed very nervous, kept checking his watch.
Nervous, checking his watch, like they were on a deadline.
Feels like it, doesn't it? Two guys dressed up, acting jumpy, just before they head up this hill. And the last confirmed sighting, they supposedly got a ride up Ventem Hill in a Jeep with two other men who were never identified.
Unidentified men. Okay, that's another loose end.
A huge one. And that's where the investigation really hits a wall. Or rather, where it seems like crucial mistakes were made early on.
How so?
The autopsy, for starters, it was massively delayed, weeks later. By then, the bodies were just too decomposed.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So reliable toxicology. Forget it. They couldn't determine the actual cause of death. Was it poison, drugs, something else entirely? We just don't know. That's a massive, massive hole in the case.
So the capsules from the notebook, they couldn't test for that.
Exactly. And no capsules or containers were ever found at the scene either. Did they take them? Did they dissolve? Were they even pills?
No.
This raises an important question. What were the capsules? We're left completely guessing.
Man, that's frustrating.
It gets worse. The money thing. They left home with a pretty significant amount of cash, about 3 million cruzeros. Enough for a used car back then.
Right.
But only a tiny fraction of that, about 161,000 cruzeros, was found on them. Maybe 160 US dollars at the time.
So robbery.
Well, that's the obvious thought. But then, why leave any money? And why no signs of a struggle? Their wallets were still there. It's just odd for a typical robbery.
Yeah, it doesn't quite add up.
And the masks, the key piece of evidence, arguably, they were never properly tested. Not for radiation, not for chemical traces, nothing. Think what modern forensics could tell us now.
A huge missed opportunity.
Absolutely staggering. You have to wonder how much these early slip-ups, maybe combined with the tech they had in the 60s, just doomed this case from the start. It really shows how those first few days of an investigation are everything.
So, with the official investigation hitting so many dead ends, people started looking for other explanations, right? Theories started popping up.
Naturally. And the investigation after their deaths turned up some really intriguing stuff, leading to the most prominent theory.
Yeah.
It connects to this idea of scientific spiritualism.
Scientific spiritualism, okay.
Yeah. Here's where it gets really interesting. The police searched Miguel's workshop back home, and they found tools, scrap lead, stuff consistent with actually making those masks.
So they likely made the masks themselves.
Seems very probable. But they also found books on spiritualism, specifically this scientific spiritualism, and certain passages were highlighted. Passages talking about spirits and intense luminosity associated with them.
Intense light, like something you'd need eye protection for.
Exactly. Yeah. And this connects a testimony from a friend of theirs, a guy named Elcio Gomes. He basically confirmed it, said Manuel and Miguel were part of this group, scientific spiritualists. They were trying to contact, well, spirits or maybe even extraterrestrials. Specifically, they were interested in Mars.
Mars, wow. Okay, so this wasn't just reading books, they were actively doing things.
Oh, yeah. According to Elcio, anyway. He described a couple of weird incidents, like 2 months before they died, some kind of device they built exploded in Manuel's backyard, left behind a strange powder, nobody knows what.
An explosion and strange powder, that sounds intense.
Definitely. And there was another story from Atafona Beach. Elzio claimed he was with them, and they saw this large, bright object come down from the sky, then a big flash, a loud bang. Apparently, the military even picked up weird radio signals around the same time that they couldn't trace. And again, strange powder found afterwards.
Okay, these stories are pretty wild. Hard to verify, I guess.
Extremely hard. They're anecdotal, mostly from Elcio. But they paint this picture of active, maybe even dangerous experimentation.
So how did the capsules and masks fit into this theory?
Well, there was a suggestion apparently from a professor of yoga interviewed later that some spiritualists in the area use psychedelic drugs, to get into a trance state, maybe make contact easier. And they might have anticipated some kind of bright light or energy release during this contact. Blindingly bright, maybe. So the lead masks.
Yeah.
Protection. Eye shields against this intense spiritual or alien luminosity.
So the theory is, they took these capsules, maybe psychedelics, put on the masks to protect their eyes from expected light, and then something went wrong, like an accidental overdose.
That's the essence of it. An experiment gone fatally wrong. What's fascinating here is you see these guys, electronics technicians, right? They seem to be applying their technical logic to the spiritual realm. Like it's an engineering problem. Build a device, take a substance, wear protection, follow the steps, achieve contact. It's a bizarre fusion.
That theory does seem to tie a lot of the elements together, the masks, the capsules, their background, the notes. But like you said, Esquesho's stories are, well, they're stories. How much weight can you put on that kind of anecdotal evidence when there's no hard proof?
And that's the crux of it, isn't it? In any investigation, stories from friends, family, they provide context, maybe motive. They help build a picture, but they aren't proof on their own. Without someone analyzing that strange powder, without independent confirmation of lights in the sky, it remains a compelling narrative, a possible explanation for why they did what they did. But it doesn't definitively tell us how they died. That missing toxicology report is still the huge black hole. So yeah, the spiritualist angle feels plausible, it fits the pieces, but it's still fundamentally a hypothesis.
Right. It makes a certain kind of sense, but it's not proven fact.
Okay.
Experimental fact. Oh yeah, so speaking of lights in the sky, what about the actual UFO angle? Didn't people report seeing something?
Yes. And this adds another layer entirely. On August 17th, the night the men supposedly went up the hill, there were reports. A local woman, Grisinda, apparently well-respected, claimed she saw a round orange UFO over Vintem Hill, moving up and down.
Same night. Over the same hill.
Exactly. And apparently other locals saw something similar but were hesitant to speak up at first. Worried people would think they were crazy.
So what does this all mean? Was it just a wild coincidence? Or were Manuel and Miguel onto something? Did they actually encounter something up there? It plays right into their beliefs, doesn't it?
It absolutely fuels that side of the speculation. Maybe their experiment worked in a way they didn't expect. But like the spiritualist angle, it's impossible to prove. And there are other more mundane, though maybe less satisfying theories, too.
Like what?
Well, there's that prison confession. A criminal named Hamilton Bazzani claimed he robbed and killed them, said he poisoned them.
Poisoned them? Did that fit?
Not really. The police looked into it, but his story had holes. Like, why leave some money in the wallets if it was a robbery? And why the elaborate setup with the masks if you just wanted to poison someone? They didn't end up charging him. It just didn't quite match the scene's weirdness.
Okay, so that one didn't stick. Any others?
There's always the possibility of some kind of Cold War thing. Espionage, maybe? Or a government cover-up. Remember, Brazil was under a military dictatorship, then 1964 to 85.
Right, you mentioned that. How might that play in?
Well, that regime valued order and control above all else. Something this strange, this unexplainable. It can be seen as destabilizing. So this raises an important question. Did the political climate maybe lead investigators to not dig too deep, to keep things quiet? It's speculation, of course, but the context of the time definitely favored controlling information over full transparency. Official records might not tell the whole story.
That's plausible too, I guess. Anything else?
There is one more thing, and it's properly chilling. The Hermes case. Yeah. 4 years before Manuel and Miguel, back in 1962, another electronics technician, Hermes Suarez dos Santos, was found dead on a different hill, but in the same general region, and he was also wearing a lead mask.
No way! Another one, same profession, lead mask.
Exactly. And his case is also unsolved. The parallels are just uncanny. It really suggests this wasn't just a one-off bizarre event, but maybe part of a pattern.
Wow.
The problem is the documentation on the Hermes case is apparently much thinner. Less detail available. So it's hard to draw firm conclusions, but it's this really ominous echo hanging over the whole lead mask of mystery. When we connect this to the bigger picture, it hints at something potentially larger and stranger than just two men's fatal experiment.
That earlier case, with the same elements, that really does make it even stranger, doesn't it? It feels less like a random, isolated tragedy and more like something else was going on. No wonder this case just won't go away.
Absolutely. You've got the lack of a clear cause of death. You've got these incredibly weird artifacts, the masks, the notebook, and then all these conflicting theories, none of them fully proven. It's the perfect storm for an enduring mystery. The lead masks case is just baked into Brazilian folklore now. It's a symbol of the utterly inexplicable.
Yeah.
And it forces you to think, doesn't it, about how we deal with ambiguity. There's this fascinating contradiction, I think, about call it the prepared spontaneity paradox.
Yeah.
This meticulous planning, right? The notebook, the timings. But then, at the crucial moment, they choose blindness. They cover their eyes.
Voluntarily blinding themselves.
Right. And what do those masks symbolize? Were they really just physical protection? Or are they ritual tools meant to block out the world, maybe focus inwards, or achieve some kind of ritual blindness? They're such a powerful symbol. Veils, shields. We just don't know. Ultimately, this raises an important question about how we make sense of things when the information is fragmented or contradictory, how narratives get shaped. And it taps into that deep human drive, doesn't it? The search for meaning, the desire to understand things that seem beyond our normal grasp. It's that constant tension between trying to be rational and wanting to believe in something more.
It really is a case that defies easy answers. Just this strange mix of crime scene details, science or pseudoscience, and maybe even the paranormal. It pushes right up against the limits of what we think we know.
And it leaves you with that unsettling thought. What if the masks worked? What if they saw something extraordinary? And what if we were never meant to see what they saw?
That is a truly chilling thought to end on. This deep dive really shows, I think, that some mysteries hang around not because the truth is deliberately hidden, but maybe because we're still trying to figure out the right questions to ask. We definitely encourage you, the listener, keep digging into this one. It's fascinating. And maybe you can decide for yourself what really happened up on Vintem Hill all those years ago.